Plenty of atmosphere here this afternoon. Alongside me is Mark Eller, and Mark, there's a real buzz here, isn't there, at Concord?
Well, it certainly is, Gordon. It's going to be a marvellous match. Both sides expected to really take it to each other, and it should be, the conditions are perfect, not too much sun. It should be a real open match.
The French lineup contains 8 members of the team that lost 27-14 to Australia. But apart from wingers La Gisquet and Canberra-Barrow, it's the same side that flattened the All Blacks at Nantes last November. The backline has the potential to cut any defence to ribbons. Blanco plays his 52nd test to equal Roland Bertrand as France's most capped player, while halfback Berbizier surpasses Gérard Dufault as France's most capped halfback. The pack is exactly the same one that dismembered the New Zealand 8 on November 15. This Australian side contains 10 of the team that beat France last year at the SCG. In the backs, David Campese needs one more try for the world record. On the wing, Matt Burke has been unstoppable, and 5/8 Michael Lynagh needs just 11 points to pass Morgan McLean's test record. The Australian pack is missing Steve Tyman at number 8 with a bad cork. Troy Coker comes in, which means Australia now has 3 telescopic giants with Cutler and Campbell. 6 of the 8 form that magnificent Queensland pack that humbled New South Wales in the recent interstate match. Well, it really is a marvellous occasion here, and I can certainly confess to a few butterflies in the stomach. It is sudden death, Mark Eller, and I think the crowd senses that this afternoon. The loser of this game goes on to the playoff for 3rd and 4th.
Well, that's right. Both sides can't afford to lose, and Australia in particular, they're really on their way back. They had a disappointing first 3 games during the round-robin matches, and they're really back there, and I expect them to put in, again, another big performance.
The referee this afternoon is Mr. Brian Anderson. He's been something of a good luck charm for the Australians. He's refereed Australia 5 times, and the only loss was in 1983 at the SCG against New Zealand. So the stage is set for this first World Cup semi-final, and the game is started by Frank Meynell. Campese with his left hamstring heavily strapped with a big kick to touch, and that's a fine start for the Australians.
Well, Campese has been in fine form, particularly when it comes to kicking, and the Frenchman just can't afford to give him that latitude again.
So the line out right on halfway. Australian forwards being pushed back nearly 8 metres. Meynell. The French trying to move it wide. Seller stepping beautifully. Now here's Rodriguez running into Michael Lynagh. Big, powerful man. 35 metres out. Fine start here by the French. Champ. Lovely hands from the French backline. La Gisquet put into touch. But the sleight of hand from Denis Charvet, number 12. But the Australian cover swarming.
Well, it was good play by the Frenchmen using their big forwards, Rodriguez and Champ, and then finally getting it out to the backs. That's where France are more dangerous, when the backs and forwards link together.
So that was pretty inspiring stuff from the French. And the first line-out penalty of the game. France holding the man down. And against France in the middle of the line-out, number 4 looks as though he's been penalised, Alain Lorieux. Well, Daniel Dubroca, the French captain, says that his side usually gives away 12 points a match through penalties. And Lynagh's unleashed a big one. Serge Blanco. 10 metres from the halfway line, France's territory. Three-man line out for Australia. Bit of confusion. Number 3, Garaway set the ball up. Meynell. Peter Grigg underneath. Good covering by the Australian winger on halfway. He's wrapped up by Erbani. Australia go the short side. Campese. Matthew Burke put into touch. Good tackle by Didier Canberra-Barrow.
It was good play by the Australian side, but Tommy Lawton shouldn't have got that ball. David Campese was hitting the line from a lot deeper, and really, Tommy should have let that ball go.
Midway, halfway, and 22, France's territory. Well taken by Farr Jones. High ball from Lynagh. Papworth coming through. Lost ahead by Brad Papworth. Referee playing the advantage. Frank Meynell. That one sliding off the side of his boot just 25 metres out from the French goal line.
Well, Michael Lyon will be putting those balls up all day to Blanco. He must have nightmares about last year at the SCG, particularly when Michael Cook hit him on a number of occasions.
27 metres out. Four-man line out for Australia. Campbell does well with two hands. Liner, field goal attempt. It's pretty close. What a start for Australia. He kicked a field goal at the SCG last year, and he's done it again here at Concord.
Well, what a great performance by Michael Lyon. The first time Australia's really been in any attacking position, didn't hesitate and put the ball straight between the posts. We'll just have a look at there. Good win by Bill Campbell. Went straight to Liner, no hesitation. 3 points for Australia.
Well, that really is a dream start for the Australians. And a magnificent leap there by Bill Campbell. Australia with 3 giraffes in the line out this afternoon. And that's going to be a problem area for the French. Coker went high, he was knocked out of the way. French set the ball up beautifully here. Denis Charvet. This is Berbizier darting down the short side. But Pierre Berbizier, the French halfback, what a horrific start to the tour he had in 81 when he was rucked against Queensland and had 38 stitches and a head wound. Campbell again at the front. Carl Jones going back into the ruck. Jeff Miller at halfback. Here it comes. Campese. He really thumped that one down the field. Serge Blanco just outside his 22. Burke's in front. Good tackle. Brilliant support by Sella. Now it's Gamba Ribeiro. And that's an overstart by the number 14 for France, Didier Gamba Ribeiro.
And it was just as well for Australia. Gamba Ribeiro had at least 3 or 4 players coming in support, and it could have been a very dangerous situation.
Well, again, a good tackle by Matthew Burke, taking up where he left off last week. French trying to put pressure on the Australian scrum, but it holds. Liner. Another high ball. Beautifully dodged kick. Matthew Burke coming through on Gamba Ribeiro. He took it well. He was in the air, though. Australia drives in. They're looking for the quick ball. Far Jones in there. And it was knocked on.
Again, that was a golden opportunity for Australia. They had the whole back line lined out, but instead the ball went to Bill Campbell. It's got to get to the backs very, very quickly in those broken situations so that we can use our pace out wide.
Yes, Australian forwards hanging off that time rather than being involved in that maul. And I'm sure if they had have got the ball out wide there, Australia could have scored.
I've got no doubts about it. That was a certain try for Australia if it just went to the backs.
Now the hooker Dubroca in at halfback here for France, but again another line-out win. Papworth still stepping beautifully. Poitevin mauls it back. Far Jones calls. Collapsed deliberately by France. Deliberately collapsing the maul, says the referee, and a penalty chance here for Michael Liner.
Well, that's a strange penalty. I don't think I've seen too many referees award a penalty to the other team for collapsing the maul. I mean, Australia were going forward, and really the only way to stop Australia's momentum was to try and, fall on the ground.
Yes, I think there was no doubt about the decision. The French realised they were being pushed back, but the referee was in perfect position. 8 minutes gone, first half. Michael Liner, Australia. Majestic kick. Australia with a 6-0 lead.
Looking at the game so far, I think France are really going to struggle in the forward. In the forwards base, I think they haven't won a line out so far, and they're really been pushed back by the Australian pack.
But concern now in the Australian camp as Brett Papworth is down for treatment.
I noticed after Papworth took that ball into the ruck up near French territory that he limped away straight away, so obviously he's twisted something. It appears to be in a little bit of pain. I don't know if he can carry on. Andrew Slack is signaling to the grandstand, and Anthony Herbert is taking his jacket off. We'll look at it again. He bounced off a couple of French players, took it in. it's hard to see exactly what happened. Maybe when the French collapsed the ruck, he may have felt down awkwardly. There he is at the bottom.
So it looks as though Papworth's going to leave the field. That's the end of the test match for him, and what a blow to Australia's World Cup hopes. And what a moment it is now for Anthony Herbert. Australia a man down at present. Burke just tapping the ball into touch. So Anthony Herbert about to take the field. And what a cauldron he's facing here. The Australian backline could be disorganised after that, Mark.
Well, that's a tragedy for Australia. Papworth is a brilliant individual player, and really we need his zest, particularly in the middle of the field. And now it's going to put more pressure on, I think, the likes of Campese and Burke.
Eric Champ with a loose tap to De Broca, the French captain. Accidental offside against France, running into his own teammates with the ball. And that's the penalty you pay when you have a hooker at halfback. France looking for the feed, but it's Australia's ball. Tight head to France. Rodriguez into halfback Nick Farr-Jones. The French are really fired up now. It's been stolen by Coker. Liner. Well, he hesitated. He probably should have got his boot to the ball. Farr-Jones calling for it. Slacks in at 5'8". And France has the scrum feed, so Australia not taking advantage that time.
Well, that's right. Michael Liner just hesitated for that split second. He may have saw Blanco standing down the side. He was going to kick the ball and elected to try and step inside. Unfortunately, just couldn't make that half break.
Devastating blow for the Australians, losing Brett Papworth after 9 minutes of play. The French with a good blindside here. Charvet, here's Blanco. Campese at the back. 18 metres out from the Australian goal line. Australia in the lead by 6 points to 0. Fantastic atmosphere here at Concord. Elbani, the big flanker, wins it. Now the French go to try and roll it. Expert control here from the men in blue. 15 metres out. Berbizier has it. Meynell running straight at the Australians. Australia caught offside. Well, the crowd feeling the referee should have played advantage. Look at Jacques Ferrou. Philippe Dantron, the former captain. France looked like scoring there, and Mr. Anderson has awarded the penalty. Maybe there was a little knock-on as the ball was passed.
No, I think referee Anderson just made one of those judgments. He felt, I think it was a high tackle that he awarded the penalty for. Ruled the tackle before, obviously didn't play the advantage.
So this is Didier Gamba-Ribeiro looking for France's first points. He's hooked it, and a very nervous kick from the French right winger. He's playing on the right wing today. He's normally a fullback or fly half. Liners thumped the ball downfield. Blanco with a nasty bounce. And a fine kick up towards halfway. Serge Blanco is the world record holder. He scored 14 tries from fullback. Well, this is really going to be a torrid struggle this afternoon. Australia with the early advantage. A field goal and a penalty goal to Michael Liner. 6-0. 15 minutes gone. Lillicrap setting up the maul for Australia. Now they try to work it forward. Erbany smuggles it back. Erbany may have taken the ball for France. I think he has. Great play there by the number 7 for France. Stolen the ball from the Australians, and France has the scrum feed. That's no mean feat against this heavyweight Australian pack.
Well, he virtually took on the whole of the Australian pack, and if it wasn't for Tommy Lawton's tackle there at the end, Australia could have been in trouble again. Great work.
Well, there's an indication that the French mean business this afternoon. Berbizier hugging the touchline, 10-metre line Australian territory. Inspiring piece of play there by Dominic Elbani, the former policeman, now sales rep from Argent. Six-man lineup. Campbell got it. Loose tap to Far Jones. France again set up well. Dubroca, Berbizier. Back inside Deschamps. Berbizier has it again. Maynell, Charvet to Sella. Beautiful dummy. Blanco. Lovely work from the French. Liner has it for Australia. The ball loose on the ground. Campisi. Bill Campbell's down on the 10-metre line for Australia. He's in enormous pain. And the word on Brett Papworth from the dressing room, he has a medial ligament strain.
Well, hopefully Bill Campbell hasn't got the same. Obviously, Greg Craig's looking at him now. We try and see. He virtually went straight back, falling back on his knee. We'll see him now. He virtually goes straight to the ground after this. That's where it may have happened. I think may have been Andy McIntyre or Tommy Lawton falling on him.
So Campbell, not sure whether he can continue. And no one would know better than him because he's a doctor at the West Club. And I suppose some relief for his wife Lynn, who's expecting their third child. She's watching in Brisbane. Condon lost it ahead. French forwards playing in inspired fashion at present. Campbell still feeling that leg. He's gone down again. I think David Cody's going to have to come onto the field.
Well, this is a tragedy for Australia if we happen to lose two players, particularly a player of Bill Campbell's immense ability in that line-out.
So two of the really central figures in this Australian lineup now off the field and out of the game. Bill Campbell and Brett Papworth. Australia leading 6-0. 18 minutes gone first half. David Cody comes on, the man who devastated the Frenchman last year. Big jump by Condon. Dubroca drives in. Australia push back 5-6 metres. Chance here for the French backs. Maynell. Charvet lost it. Towed ahead by Liner. Camberabero on halfway. Well, the French are making it hard for themselves, squandering possession in solid attacking situations.
That's right. When you play against a side like Australia, you just can't afford to make mistakes.
Here's Herbert. Hurried kick. Blanco in good spot. Just outside the 22. Peter Grigg in front. He's been left behind. Lagisquet. Jolting defence from Australia. David Cody immediately getting in the action. Here's an overlap now with Campisi out here on the left. Matt Burke coming through. Pierre Berbizier. Camberabero. And Burke got him. No, he didn't. He put him under pressure, though. And a kick out on the full. Right back just outside the 22. Plenty of action here at Concord.
Well, that was good work by Matthew Burke. Really, Australia only had one man chasing. If the Frenchmen did, as they did against Queensland last year, they could have easily backed up. Australia need more chasers.
Another good line-out win by Campbell. By Coker, I should say. Blanco taking the mark just outside his goal line. So Troy Coker jumping at the front of the Australian line-out, getting a good two-hander.
And Blanco just putting the ball down, waiting for all his side to get on side. I think he's just given him a little bit of a breather. Now, obviously, they've been rattled by these few mistakes that they've just made.
Yes, deep breaths all round. Poor kick. Poitevin coming through, charging the ball as you're allowed to from a free kick. And Blanco gaining only about 7 or 8 metres. Coker's at number 2, Cutler at 4. He's having a bit of fun and games with his opposite number, Jean Condon. Referee now speaking to the big French lock. Good work again by the Australians. There's no halfback in there. Far Jones caught in the middle of the maul. Campese's come in for halfback. Liner. Field goal attempt. Charge down. Here's trouble. Campese recovers. He's lost it. Chomp. Herbert on the loose ball. They've cleared it. Albani. Australia looking rattled at the moment. And the referee's going back for the penalty. Australia not releasing the ball in the tackle. He played the advantage. It didn't go France's way. But Herbert holding on for dear life.
Well, he didn't have much of a choice. If he let that ball go, France had more numbers to the breakdown and really could have been a 4-pointer. But I think to his credit, he had to hold on to the ball. And even if it means 3 points, well, it's always better than 4.
So Australia's attacking options in the backline, Mark, have been severely restricted now with Papworth off the field, and a lot's going to fall onto David Campese.
Well, that's right. I think it's important for both Herbert and Slack to get that ball out wide as quick as possible.
And he's hooked it again. 2 misses. 2 very kickable ones. Australia still clinging to a 6-point advantage. Liner's kick charge down. Here's trouble. Campese gets away from De Broca. Now he's going to have a little gallop. And that's brilliant play from the Australian fullback.
What brilliant play by David Campese. He turned a potentially dangerous situation back into Australia's favour.
And yet another man down requiring attention for Australia, this time Michael Liner. So he's received a knock around the solar plexus, it would seem. Watch it.
It was good work from the French forward. Michael Liner threw the ball to David Campese, who did all the good work.
And he was trodden on by the hooker, De Broca.
Was he really?
He's been, as he was on the ground without the ball, the French captain and hooker trod on him. Steve Goddard bringing out a fresh pair. So we go back to the halfway line. Liner's good at kicking goals. I wonder what he's like at tying hurried knots. Still trying to get the button done up. Berbizier throws in. He's the scrum half. Up the back, Champ. Lost ahead by De Broca. Well, the French coach must be pulling out what little hair he has at the moment, Jacques Barrou.
Well, the France are making all the mistakes, really. They've had the opportunities, but they just can't seem to hold the ball when it matters most.
Jean-Pierre Garouet packing down on this side. Far Jones. Cody at the back. Coker's moved into the second row. Cutler does well. No halfback for Australia. Bad communication here. Now Liner comes in. Andrew Slack. He's going to reef it downfield. And there's been another flare up after the kick. The referee's blown his whistle. Andy McIntyre. And it's number 4, Alain Lorieux, being spoken to by Brian Addison. McIntyre saying the left uppercut came through in that ruck. And the referee saying we'll go back to square one, have the scrum Australia's feet. So Troy Coker in the second row. Cody packing in at number 8. That's disrupted the Australian scrum. And Berbizier on this side of the scrum, offside.
Well, I don't know what Berbizier was trying to do. Australia still had control of that ball at the number 8 position, and he tried to firstly take it out of David Cody's feet. We'll just have a look at it here if we get time. The scrum screws. David Cody still got control of that ball. Berbizier tries to put his hands there and pilfers the ball.
This kick from 53 metres. The Australians hoping and praying that this one will go over. He's got the distance, has he? What a kick! Sensational kick by Liner. From 53 metres out, he's given Australia a 9-point lead.
Well, what can you say? A magnificent effort by Michael Liner.
Well, this man has kicked 23 points in test matches on 3 occasions. And as far as I know, no other man has averaged more than 13 points a test match in international history. Loose ball tap from the Australians, towed ahead by De Broca. Grigg can't pick up. But France has been ruled offside. Eric Champ offside, and Australia with a chance to just relieve the heat here inside their 22. Kick hasn't found touch. Serge Blanco, Berbizier, Coker the tackler. He just swatted into the ground like a fly. So did David Cody. Well, Berbizier must have memories of David Cody, because we saw a couple of fantastic tackles from the former New South Wales country captain at the SCG last year. Berbizier, the ball's out now. Maynell. Kick coming down on the halfway line in centre field. Well taken by Burke. Philippe Silla gets the penalty. Australians interfering off the ball. Berbizier, De Broca. Rodriguez running strongly again. Big powerful man stands in the tackle. They couldn't get him to ground. 22-metre line. Here go the French backs. Long cut out to Blanco. Lagisque outside. Now it's Champ looping around, linking up with his back line. Here's a chance for France. There's a 2-man overlap. Maynell caught by Nick Farr-Jones by the bootlace. Berbizier, here they go again. Blanco. He lost the ball. Desperate defence by Australia, and a try-saving tackle by the Australian scrum half.
What fantastic play by the Frenchmen. Moving the ball both sides. I thought they were certainly going to score, but Nick Farr-Jones came across and really just held on to Maynell's leg.
Well, the French showing when they have the ball in hand, they are quite dazzling, and somehow Australia held on. This is Nick Farr-Jones, who effected that last-ditch tackle.
This was brilliant play by the Frenchman. It looked as if all was lost. It was good backing up, and Champ took it up. Really, Nick Farr-Jones was there again, and this was good work by the French team. They moved it straight out. Maynell got it through the dummy. Again, looked like he was going to make it. Nick Farr-Jones came screaming across the field and threw that right arm out.
So the Australian scrum struggling to hold on to the ball. Here they go now. Cody. Oh, picked up brilliantly by Coker. Poitevin. Australians have turned defence into attack here. Cody. Magnificent play from the Australian forwards. Campese. Liner. Burke chases. Lagisque there first. The Australian scrum was backpedaling, but David Cody was the man who took it ahead, and Australia has swept play upfield.
What magnificent work by Cody and Poitevin. They really combined together. As Gordon said, the game looked lost, and really they came up straight up the middle.
This is going to be a real test of character for both sides this afternoon. Liner's kick too deep this time, and Blanco finding touch just outside the 22. Australia has beaten France on home soil in its last 3 test matches, twice in 1981 and last year at the SCG. Coker doing well at the front. Farr-Jones absolutely creamed. French pouring through on the Australian scrum half. Very physical performance from the French 8 this afternoon. This is the sort of effort they turned on against the All Blacks at Nantes last year. Airbunny got a hand to it. France trying to lay it back. Berbizier having a look. Maynell. Brilliantly picked up by Charvet to Blanco. Lagisquet. And referee Mr. Anderson spots a forward pass. And good defence there from Andrew Slack, the Australian skipper, who's really calling on all his depths of experience this afternoon to maintain Australian composure.
Well, that's right. It's very important in this cutthroat situation that everybody remains calm.
Campese on the short side. He follows. Blanco and Campese. The two fullbacks collide, pat each other on the back, 10 metres out. Australia leading 9-0 thanks to the reliable boot of Michael Lynagh. His last penalty goal from his own side of halfway. France doing well at the back. They take it in. Berbizier clears to Blanco. And that's an excellent clearance, just short of the 22. Serge Blanco made his debut against South Africa back in 1980. Australian backs lined out deep. Poker again at the front. Campese, Grigg, just outside the 22. Beautiful hands from Slack. Burke, Matthew Burke standing in the tackle. Ball has gone forward. Simon Poitevin arrives late.
Well, that was good work from the Australian backs. They took that ball a little bit flat, but it was good backing up. Just a catching pass that really got them this far.
Australia wheels. French having trouble. And Simon Poitevin's offside. Poitevin not bound onto the scrum that time. You're allowed to come round like that, providing you are bound on with a hold arm. He was just holding on. Australia 9-0, 32 minutes gone. For Australia, Michael Lynagh, 2 penalty goals and 1 field goal. Coker, Cutler, well taken by Jean Condon. And France going over the top. The French players just throw their arms in the air in despair. But France making no attempt there to stay on their feet.
Yeah, I'm a little bit confused there. I thought that that French forward, Condom, actually was a player who put the ball on the ground. Referee Anderson has ruled that he went over the ball.
Well, just trying to recap on the incident. It looked as though Condom did win the line out. And De Brocker, the French captain, is certainly very angry about the decision. The crowd is hushed. He's pushed it. Shaves the right hand upright. Well, France have missed a couple. That's Lynagh's first. Score remains at 9-0. That really would have broken the French hearts, I think. They take a quick tap. Improvisation. Berbizier. One of the French players getting in the way, and he's knocked the ball on.
Again, I think the French are trying to do a little bit too much. But Berbizier, it was good work, but the forwards obviously weren't aware of it. He took them a little bit by surprise, and really they just got in the way.
Far Jones. Lynagh comes left. Far Jones goes right. Almost through. Cody. Miller and Coker there. Poitevin slips it back. Far Jones. Herbert chipping over the top. Grigg through. Seller takes the mark.
I'd like to see Australia in that situation try and hold on to the ball and punch it up straight. At least, get that forward momentum going and try and run from second and third phase.
Philippe Sellar's favourite book is The Laws of the Game. 5 metres from halfway.
Set, mate. Set, Tommy.
Ebony, number 7, tapping it down loosely. Berbizier pirouettes and comes away. Rodriguez running off his little halfback. Back through the legs. Berbizier short side. Lagisquet with space. Lovely step. Grigg takes him, ball and all. Cody's there too. Erbani, tackled by Poitevin. France walk over it. They're running in close. Rodriguez just bumping McIntyre out of the way. Now they clear it wide. There's an overlap for France. Quick hands the order. Blanco over the 22. Serge Blanco. Beautiful pass. Canberra-Barrow caught somehow. Another try-saving tackle by the Australians. Anthony Herbert this time. But marvellous play from the French backs.
Again, great rugby all round. The French backs are really showing the flair that they're renowned for. And again, Anthony Herbert, I don't know how he did it out of frustration. He just reached for that jumper and really just pulled the Frenchman down.
Well, that's at least 2 try-saving tackles, if not 3, we've seen from the Australians in desperate defence. France getting closer. Coker went high. France have taken it. This could be a try. It is! Alain Laurier has scored. His 3rd try in a test match. Australia had the ball at the front of the line out. They lost it, and Laurier is over.
Well, this is where France have been most aggressive right throughout the day. They've been really fighting for the ball as if their life depended on it. Coker took that ball. All of a sudden, Laurier popped out of that ruck and really put it over in the corner. Just look at it again. Coker grabbed it. Beautiful two-handed catch. Laurier fighting all the way. All of a sudden pops around. Sees it. There's an opening down the blind side. Campese and Far Jones. Too late. Couldn't stop him.
Coming back beautifully. Look at this one. 3 points the difference. 3 minutes before half-time. France right back in the game.
What a marvellous kick, and boy, have we got a real game in our hands now. We'll just see Laurier coming around that blind side. Far Jones tried to put him down, and Campese coming across, but it was just too big.
Well, the commitment of the French forwards has shown itself on 2 or 3 occasions in outstanding individual pieces of play. We go back to Erbani, who performed a miraculous feat early in the half when he wrestled the ball clear, and now Laurier just effortlessly stealing the ball from the Australians at the front of the line out and crashing over for a heartbreaking try as far as Australia was concerned.
Well, it's important that Australia strike back as quick as possible and stop this French resurgence.
Well, there's just a little bit of panic in the Australian ranks at the moment. The French pouring through. They may have pilfered again. Berbisier's caught. But the side has certainly been disrupted after losing Papworth and Bill Campbell with injuries. So they have no more replacements allowed. And France with the scrum feed. David Cody certainly made an impact since he's been on the field. What a struggle we have here at Concord. The winner through to the final at Eden Park next Saturday. Controlled at the back by Rodriguez. Blanco. 1 minute before half-time. France has scored the only try. They scored 3 tries to 1 against Australia last year. But Australia kicked all the points through Liner. Liner's done it again today with 9. Good jump by Condon. And he's driving through the Australian line out again. Very physical play from the French forwards. They're taking the game right up to the Australians.
Well, that's their best part of their game, and Australia have really got to get their forwards grouped together and try and stop that French momentum in these situations.
Now, Tommy Lawton down for attention. The referee blows it up for half-time. And it's Australia leading France by 9-6. But what a second half is in store here. So the second half about to get underway. Most of the ground now engulfed in shadow. Liner kicks deep. Blanco comes out. And he's kept that one in field. Campese. Campese follows. Running everyone onside. Rodriguez, this tower of strength there. Campese couldn't take it. Miller does. Jeff Miller straight through the French forwards. Great start by the Australians. Far Jones. He's slack. And a knock on by Campese. And what a shame the ball didn't come to the open side.
Again, an Australian forward standing down that blind side. Tommy Lawton. Far Jones hesitated and really should have fired that past the slack and instead of letting it float through the air.
Well, the Australian forwards have got to get involved in the rucks and mauls. And look at that shove from the Australians. The French rum. Airborne. The hooker, De Broca, must have felt he had a parachute. Just outside the 22. Far Jones couldn't handle. France storms through. Champ sets it up. Serge Blanco comes in. And this time he does find touch. Extremely well. 11 metres into Australian territory. Well, as we were chatting, Mark, during the break, as Champ receives attention, the All Blacks looking in this afternoon from their hotel in Brisbane, and they must be licking their chops because this has been a very physical game, a very draining game on both sides, and I guess we'll be lucky to see two sides standing this afternoon at the final whistle.
Well, both sides will be very exhausted, but I don't think they'll be quite as exhausted as the two teams are going to run off Eden Park next Saturday.
Well, Jacques Ferrou must be feeling pretty proud of his men. They're not good travellers, France. Probably their greatest victory was against the All Blacks at Eden Park in 1979. Cutler got a hand to it. Far Jones under pressure. Miller comes into maul. Australia trying to wheel it round. McIntyre's in there, so is Poitevin. Here it comes. Liner. Serge Blanco. That ball going straight to him. Big kick back down to Campese. Campese unleashes. Just short of halfway.
Well, Serge Blanco doing what David Campese normally does when there's not many options available, to just put the ball straight down the field. Unfortunately for that time, it fell straight to Campese.
Since Alan Jones has been in control, only the All Blacks have lowered Australia's colours. Champ at the back. Good leap from him. Maynell. Here comes Charvet. He gets away from Poitevin. Back to Liner, who intercepts. He's lacking support. French drive in and steal the ball. Number 4, Alain Laurier, the try scorer, slips it back. Berbizier sniping. Cody the tackler. Australia looking stretched here. Laurier again. What an inspired game from the big second rower, just outside the 22. Australia holding on here. Sella. Philippe Sella. He's over. Sensational try. He's 19th in test matches. And the French camp is jubilant.
Well, it all started from the French forwards. They consistently pick that ball up and go straight down the middle. Australia just can't regroup quick enough. Again, Berbizier doing the right thing. Let the ball goes out wide. You watch it here, forward after forward. Takes it up. Laurier going straight up the middle. The Australian forwards are trying to cling on. Again, quick thinking by Berbizier. Sees that the gap's out wide. Sella finally gets the ball. 3 Australian defenders coming across. Strong puts a lot of them and scores between the sticks.
And France is in the lead for the first time. They kicked the conversion from in front, and a real test of character now for the Australians. France has certainly had more of the attack in this game. They've had more chances to score tries, and they've looked more enterprising with the ball in hand. Desperate stakes for Australia. France with a scent of victory. 5 minutes into the second half. Time for the Australian forwards to regroup, but the French are doing well. They're leading the lineouts by 16-12. Cutler got it. Well taken by Far Jones. Herbert. He's wrapped up. Miller's there. Taken again by Cody. Inspired performance from the replacement. That's better play from the forwards. Far Jones has it. Liner steps beautifully. He's got Far Jones in his pocket. Greg Campisi, he's there. That's the world record. Australia back in the lead.
What fantastic response by Australians, particularly the forwards. They drove that ruck and then went out to Campisi, and when he's that close to the line, and Gill made no mistakes. Again, it all came from a great Australian shove. Michael Liner did all the hard work, stepped in, stepped out, threw the long pass. Peter Grigg, beautiful pass inside to Campisi. What a great response from Australia.
And what a moment for David Campisi as Liner sets his sights. A 1-point advantage. It's coming back. And now he's passed Paul McLean's record. That's a new test total for an Australian player. Australia leading by 3. Well, what marvellous entertainment this near-capacity crowd has been treated to this afternoon. The match being beamed right around the country, also being picked up in Papua New Guinea and New Zealand. The Australians rallying magnificently in the 6th minute of the second half. Here's Campisi, allowing it to go for Liner. Well, just when France looked to be taking control, a marvellous touch from this man Liner. The big step off the right foot. And Grigg and Campisi responding superbly. Steve Cutler went high, he couldn't take it. Far Jones, the Australian scrum half, clearing well, tackle behind the play. Daniel Dubroca has been penalised. Now the penalty will be awarded where the ball landed. If it goes into touch, it's where it crosses the touchline. Watch it.
Well, Dubroca could be a little bit unlucky, but he certainly tackled Liner after the ball.
The penalty's been awarded, 15 metres in from touch.
Australia once again in control.
What a test match. And Liner really has let that one go on the 22-metre line. France has scored 2 tries to 1. Laurier in the first half, 3.5 minutes before half-time. And then 3.5 minutes later, into the second half, Silla over for a marvellous individual try. Cutler got it. Liner. Drop goal, charge down. Here's danger. Australian Terriers come in. Matt Burke and Jeff Miller. Big drive from the men in goal. Marvellous surge. And there's a penalty. Hand in the ruck by France. Jean-Pierre Garouet has conceded a penalty. Philippe Silla is down. And Liner is almost in front.
Again, a charge down, but France, I thought, had that ball. But again, it was a good push by the Australian side. They really pushed France back, and I think it was
number 3.
Garouet
there he is.
Come around that side, and that's where the penalty happened.
Jean-Pierre Garouet, number 3. You saw him with the ball on the ground in the ruck, paddling it back with his hand. Very tense stadium. This would give Australia a 6-point cushion. Coming back, it hit the upright. Well, as far as Michael Liner was concerned, that was a bad miss because it was a very straightforward kick. But then again, in this pressure cooker situation, nothing's easy.
You're quite right, Gordon, but it was crucial that Michael Liner put that goal over and take Australia 6 points further ahead of the Frenchman. Now it's still anybody's game.
Campisi follows, and Blanco's underneath. He'll probably give it to Berbizier. He's in trouble. Campisi! Couldn't hold on. And the referee brings it back for the knock-on.
You wouldn't believe it. The French again trying to do suicidal things. Campisi hit that ball up in the air, just couldn't retake it. We thought he had it in his fingertips. Unfortunately, it just went behind him and knocked on to Australia.
French scrum holds well. Blanco steps. His kick goes straight out to Burke. Camberabero comes through. Matt Burke follows. He takes it well with great strength. Miller's there for Australia. Michael Liner. Nowhere to go. They were waiting for him. Francis Pilford. 10-metre line. Charvet. Blanco. Elusive runner. Lagisquet. They won't catch him. Marvellous French try. And again, that man Blanco, in a seesawing struggle, has helped put France back in the lead.
Well, what can you say? As soon as France get that ball wide, they're in danger. And again, it was scrappy play. It really came from nothing. But this is where France are at their best, when they just break away. The Australian defence was disorganised. Charvet took the ball up, threw it to Blanco. And again, an amazing play is Serge Blanco. Ran in, beat Campese coming across. Got it across again to Lagisquet. Lillicrap was coming across, but nobody can catch this man when he's got a break. France back in front.
He's got it. Back to a 3-point lead to the Frenchman.
And again, that kick of Michael Liner comes back. We'll see Blanco, magical runner when he's got the ball, steps in, and all of a sudden in the same motion, one hand looks out again. Lagisquet gets the ball. Cameron Lillicrap coming across, but nobody can stop this man.
Lagisquet timed over the 100 metres at 10.7 seconds. That meant that Cameron Lillicrap was about 1,000 to 1. Campese keeping the ball in play. Pass out to Liner. Play on, says the referee. Poitevin to Campese. Scuffed around the neck into touch. And the referee says we'll have the line out. Halfway line. 18 points to 15. France leading. 15 minutes gone, second half.
What Australia have got to do, they've got to control the ball. They just can't afford, when they go into tackles, afford to lose it, because these Frenchmen will run at anything.
Barging in the line-out. This one awarded just on Australia's side of halfway. There is a slight breeze against the Australians, and Liner will look for touch. Again, the spiral torpedo punt kick, gaining a huge slice of territory. And now Australia, as far as France is concerned, right back in the danger zone. This is nail-biting stuff. The crowd's starting to yell themselves hoarse. And almost a flare-up again. The penalty has gone against Australia in the line-out. 7-all now, the penalties.
Well, that's silly play by Eric Chomp. He just can't afford to give away penalties in this territory. Even if Australia may have caused an infringement, there's no use retaliating like that. Frank Meynell, who's very big for a fly half, 95 kilograms, from the Racing Club de France in Paris, coached there by l'homme sans épaules, the man with no shoulders, Robert Paparambod. Big jump by Coker. Liner. Herbert takes it up. Miller caught and lost it ahead. Well, that's just too predictable from the Australians. The French had no trouble knocking them over. And now they have the scrum feed. And a chance to break out. Australia short on numbers here. Blanco through. Camberabero inside. Again, that man Blanco, dangerous every time he gets the ball. And again, it was Anthony Herbert coming across and cover defence. The inside backs for Australia have got to work their their heart outs. They've just covered as much field as they can.
Just outside the 22, Champ, number 6, Rodriguez, number 8. Storming game from the big French number 8. Champ wins well. Not in straight. Australia with the scrum feed. And there he is, the fruit farmer from Argent, Daniel Dubroca, leading from the front. Jones in the deep channel. Campisi. Oh, he hesitated. Caught by Berbizier. Heaps of trouble here for Australia. French take it straight through the middle. Laurier. The ball set up beautifully here for the backs. Maynell. Cut out to Blanco. He lost it backwards. And Australia offside. This one right in front of the posts. Sella and Blanco haven't heard the whistle. And this would give France a 6-point lead.
Well, that all started from that last scrum. The French really pushed Australia back. Campisi didn't adjust his alignment. He still stayed shallow. He didn't give himself enough room and time to put that kick away. And this is the result. 3 points, well, probable 3 points for France.
The French have been unrelenting up front today. Canberra-Barrow raises the flags. He's kicked 3 conversions and 1 penalty goal. 6-point lead. Well, David Campisi was the man at fullback. The cover came through. Berbizier, that swarming little halfback, wrapped him up so well. Champ was there, so was Charvet. And from there, Australia was in all sorts of bother.
Well, the Australian forwards have got to lift their work rate now. It's really up to them to stop this French going forward.
Didier Canberra-Barrow knocking the ball back. Suspicion of a knock-on from where we sat.
Well, referee Anderson ruled quite quickly that he actually knocked the ball back.
Ebony went high. Looks like another line-out win here for France. They're being pushed back. Laurier's in there. Maynell. And he was outside the 22. Centimetres in it. The referee right on the spot. France leading 21-15. A converted try there, cushion. Far Jones having trouble hearing the call. He's relayed it on to the Australian men in the middle. Cutler won it. Knocked down by Champ. Referee's playing advantage. Champ pouring through the line out.
I don't think the Australians will be too perturbed. It's always a lot easier to attack from a scrum situation rather than line-outs. What the forwards have got to do now is provide good ball for the backs.
Australian scrum more solid that time. Liner. Quick hands here. Grigg. Picked up by Cody again. Miller's there. Here they go, Australia. Slack kicking. Campisi across. Look at the bounce. Still in play. Grigg. Miller. That's the 22-metre line in French territory. The Australians arrive in numbers. And another scrum feed for the Australians. Crowd just under 18,000 here.
This game's more like seven-a-side football where the players don't get a chance to rest. In fact, it's going at a cracking pace.
The verdict on Bill Campbell, hyperextension of the knee capsule. .22-metre line. France leading 21-15. Australia has to reply here. French back sneaking up. Burke smashes his way into the French defence. Not good enough though from the Australians. Now they go again. Brilliantly picked up by Liner. Here's Campisi. Back it goes to Slack. Now Liner. He follows. Slack is there. So is Blanco. And I think we're going to have a line out 1 metre out from the goal line.
Great work from the Australian backs. Andrew Slack in particular, keeping that ball alive.
Marvellous effort there from the Australian skipper, rallying his troops. What a crucial line out here with Australia throwing in. Cutler's at number 4. Cody second from the back. Cutler has it. French have rucked in. Picked up, it's a try! The try has gone to Australia. David Cody. He picked up that ball. He couldn't believe it. There was no one in front of him.
Well, I don't know what the French were trying to do here. The ball was in that scrum. It looked like there was a knock on. The referee Anderson missed it. But all of a sudden, the ball was there. The Frenchman was just watching Cody pick it up. We'll watch him here. There's only Berbizier. There was no Frenchman around. And all of a sudden, Cody reaches out and scores a try.
Every French forward was on the ground and Berbizier, the only man in front. And the French backs could only look on in horror. But David Cody, coming on as a replacement today, has been simply outstanding. And I shudder to think what might have happened if he hadn't have been out there. His aggression has really lifted the Australian side. Has Liner levelled? He sure has. What a test match, 21 all. The lead has seesawed on at least 7 times. And we have 17 minutes to go.
Again, it all came about through that good work by Cody, but this is an unbelievable game. As Gordon said, the score has seesawed continuously in this second half, and I'd hate to guess who's going to win it from there.
So just a tick under 17 minutes remaining. Unbelievable semi-final here of the inaugural World Cup at Concord. 21 all the score. Michael Liner. Liner coming up for the dropout. Forwards coming underneath. Cutler charging through, so is Koga. French look to have it in control. Chomp. Berbizier. Drop attempt from Maynell. It's a big kick. Out to the right.
Well, I'd be surprised if Michael Liner does another kick for the forwards. He's proven throughout the years that he gets best advantage from a 25 dropout if he kicks the ball deep. And we'll watch Maynell here. A long field goal, unfortunately too far to the left.
Now, in the event of a draw or tie here at full time, I do believe it's 10 minutes extra time each way. That's a lovely thought for the players. Berbizier. Rodriguez bouncing off players, palms off Cody. Oh, another marvellous run from the big French number 8. Chomp's in there, reefing it back. Berbizier, Maynell, Blanco, here's Charvet, Lagisquet inside. He's elusive, this man. Is this the try to put France back in the lead? 10 metres out. Forward pass.
Well, Lagisquet, every time he gets that ball, he's got lightning acceleration, and we've just seen then he can step off both feet.
Far Jones at the back. And offside is Eric Chomp. Clearly there he wasn't bound onto the scrum. He was following the ball through like a halfback. Steve Cutler just crawls back into position. Adjectives just defy description at the moment of this test match. Blanco now with a drop. No, he decides against it. And his kick goes out on the full. Yes, just confirming there will be 2 10-minute periods of extra time. The touch judge on the far side, Mr. Derek Bevan, has his flag pointing to the left. So if the scores are level at the end, there will be 2 10-minute periods of extra time.
There's been a lot of niggling in this game so far, and I think the touch judge Bevan has picked up a Frenchman may have clipped one of the Australian players on the head. I'm not too sure, but obviously referee Anderson talking to, calling out the number 6 player for France, Eric Chomp.
A penalty's been awarded to Australia on the touch judge report of Mr. Derek Bevan of Wales. He's a man who certainly didn't earn the plaudits of the Australian camp after the loss to New Zealand at Dunedin last year. But he's found an infringement by France, and Liner looking to take play into French territory. The score is 21-all. We have 13 minutes to go, and the prospect now of extra time. If they're still level at the end of extra time, it's the team that has scored the most tries, and France leading in that department by 3-2. 13 minutes to go. Berbizier with the throw. De Broca standing very deep at scrum half. Albany won it in the middle. Number 7. France try to work it forward. Maynell just outside his 22. That's a delightful kick. Campisi keeps it in play. That was cheeky. He's in trouble though. This is Herbert. Australia with space. Far Jones outside, but he wasn't up in support. And Anthony Herbert has saved the day for Australia.
It would have been nice to have a bit of support with Anthony Herbert, but still he did the right thing, realised that he's on his own and put the ball forward and make no mistakes. It's the team that makes the less mistakes from this position on will win the game.
25 metres out. 21-all the score, 12 minutes to go. Australia barging in the line out against David Cody. France now to take play back up, if not over the halfway line. Oh, that's a marvellous kick. A gain there of 40 metres. And now we're 35 out from the Australian goal line. So France within drop goal range. Frenchman warming up on the sideline. That's a great line-out win for Australia, and Campisi on his left. He needs the bounce, he doesn't get it. Didier Camberabero. Up she goes, and down she comes. Peter Grigg stands in the tackle. Cody supporting. Marvellous play. Nick Farr-Jones. He slumped to the ground. France come away. Berbizier, the only man on that side. Campisi will try and reef that downfield. Blanco staggers back for the ball. Inside his 22. A Frenchman down in the middle of the field. And Blanco finding touch just short of halfway. Some very tired boys out there. Frank Maynell, the fly half.
And both sides trying to kick that ball out of their territory. They realise that just a field goal or a penalty could win or lose this game for them. So the aim, I suppose, of the game now is just try and keep away from your own try line.
Well, the tension has been building throughout this second half. We're down to within 10 minutes of the final whistle. Let's run through the statistics at the moment, as Australia really pressurised all the way, and you recall that the halfback Berbizier lacked support, got a grubber kick in, but Campisi returned back upfield. Lineouts are 18-all, penalties are 9-all. Ruxton Moore 16-15 to France, and Australia's taken the lead in the lineout count. Slack. Campisi. Back it goes to Cody again. He's been ever present this afternoon. Miller. Australia now sending a chance. Lawton. He's barreled in the tackle. And Lawton, what was he doing there?
Again, I know Alan Jones wants the forwards to stand that blind side, but there was a bit of a break if the ball just got out wide.
France taking advantage. Rodriguez. He can't wrap that one back. He did. It's loose on the ground. Miller the Terrier tries to pick up the crumbs. Here it comes for Australia. Now it's Campisi. Back into Liner. Lovely hands. Who's back there? Laurier goes down on the ball. Picked up by Farr-Jones. They're keeping it in play. There's a foot into touch. Well, these two sides have all but played themselves to a standstill. Deep breaths all round. 21-all, 9 minutes to go. Let's run through the scorers so far in the game. Remembering that the side with the most tries, if we go into extra time, if they're still level, would win the game. France leading 3-2 at the moment.
And again, good work by the Australian backs, just trying to keep that ball alive. Unfortunately, Michael Liner just couldn't control it there. But good play, and as Gordon said, both sides must be exhausted.
For France, Laurier a try, 3.5 minutes before half-time. Sella, 3.5 minutes into the second half. That's Pascal Ondat, the 32-year-old from Biarritz. Canberra-Barrow, 3 conversions and 1 penalty. For Australia, Campisi a try, Cody a try, Liner 2 conversions, 2 penalties and a drop. Eric Champ at the back, too tall. Dubroca. France have sucked Australia in here, but Australia comes away. Poitevins' pass was loose. Liner picks up. Now it's Cutler and Miller again, mauling back to Cody. Farr Jones calls. The French are standing around in a bunch, and what a kick by Liner. Here's Blanco setting off. He's in a bit of trouble. Back to Largisque. He tries to run out of trouble. They're in heaps here. Canberra-Barrow. Australia pile in. 10 metres out. Penalty. And will that be the match breaker? Well, Blanco decided to run it. The penalty right in front of the goalposts. Tempers fraying. 7.5 minutes to go.
Well, that was suicide stuff by Blanco, and the Frenchman really put Canberra-Barrow under enormous pressure. You know, there was no other way. Australia certainly would have scored that try. Referee Anderson realised that the French had made an infringement, and this could be the game breaker.
Well, the referee pointing as though he was awarding offside. Canberra-Barrow appeared to release the ball immediately, but
marvellous kick by David Campisi. I thought it was going to touch, all of a sudden it didn't. The ball decided it wouldn't. This is where Blanco should have put it out. He hesitated, thought he'd go through the gap. Campisi and Greg were on him. They just really had no choice. He threw the long ball, and that's where it all started. Canberra-Barrow, Burke, realising the situation was on, and really came up and put him under enormous pressure, and that's the penalty.
So Michael Liner now with a chance to wrench the lead back for Australia, remembering that Australia trailed in their second half by 6 points at one stage. David Cody, who has been simply devastating in the Australian forward pack, coming on as a replacement, then scored a try in the 21st minute. And Liner now to put Australia in the lead. This has been one of the most incredibly pulsating test matches I've ever seen, Mark. Can you recall any to match this?
No, I thought last year's third test match in Eden Park was exciting, but I must admit this one's been a lot better game, because it's been a lot of running, plenty of tries being scored, and really Australia have got to try and keep out of their territory, at the same time come up in one wave of defence.
Well, we've said it before, Jacques Froul, the coach of this French side over many years now, has witnessed a fantastic effort from his side, and so too has the Australian mentor Alan Jones. If Australia gets up here, I think it would rank as one of our greatest ever victories. Daniel Dubroca. Michael Liner. This is Frank Meynell. No mistakes from the Australians now, with just 7 minutes to go. Liner has scored 15 points in the match. Campisi's already broken the world record with his 25th try. And here's Liner. And what a neat little kick that was.
Good work by Michael Liner. He saw the opening there, ran down that sideline and put it into touch. Again, wasting time with only 6 or 7 minutes to go. Australia have really got to just keep that ball away from the Frenchman.
Pascal Andar. His debut against New Zealand at Nantes. That marvellous French victory over the All Blacks. 7 from halfway. French supporters yelling for their side. Dubroca, Meynell, He tries to bust through the tackle of Herbert, almost intercepted by Burke, and now it's Camberabero. Penalty's been awarded. Late tackle by Anthony Herbert. The man, Camberabero, taken out of the play. The tackle could have been avoided. It was a shoulder charge, and now France with a chance to level the scores.
I guess the tension out there is not easy, particularly for a guy playing in his first or his second test match now. It was touch and go, but unfortunately the referee Anderson ruled that it was late, and again France a chance of evening the score.
Well, we've seen Michael Liner miss a kick from an easier position than this. So Didier Camberabero, with incredible pressure on him at the moment. He knows that the eyes of the world are watching this kick. There's telecast beamed around the globe. He's kicked 4 from 6. And this one to level the scores. 5 minutes to go. He's got it. He took an eternity. 24 all.
I can't believe this game. It's just, you know, the pace and the excitement is just unbelievable.
It's the highest scoring test match ever between France and Australia. 48 points scored so far. Game locked at 24 all. Maynell. He finds touch. 10 from halfway. Australia with the line-out throw. Inside the last 5. Poitevins at the back. Cutler in the middle. Cody second from the back. Cutler got it. Shot coming through. Farr Jones lacking a bit of support. Australia going forward. 3 minutes to go.
I think Michael Lyon will put up a nice high ball to Serge Blanco. I don't think the backs can really afford to run it and with the chance of dropping it. They've got to put the ball back into French territory.
French will be careful not to concede any penalty. Lyon is standing on his side of halfway. As predicted by Mark Ella. Here comes Burke. He took it. Miller. It's 7 metres out. And the ball into touch. Matthew Burke. What a take under the high ball. And the Australians pleading for a hand in the ruck. But the referee saying he couldn't see it. And that's Dominique Albany, who really has had a marvellous game in this French side this afternoon. Their back row. And look at the Australians in a huddle. They don't want extra time.
Well, Matthew Burke hasn't dropped the high ball all day, whether he's putting them up himself or following Michael Liner. It was great work, and again, Miller there, always in support. A little bit unlucky, I think, that ball, somehow one of the French forwards put it out.
Yes, Garraway there, you saw him on the far side coming in on the wrong side of the ruck, and he was very lucky not to be ruled offside.
Again, Matthew Burke just fumbling with that ball before throwing it in to Jeff Miller.
Ball going into the line out, just 17 metres out. Farr Jones to Liner. Chomp the tackler. Herbert. Cody again. Miller's there. So is Poitevin. France may have set it up. Blanco. Narcisque on the first bounce. Blanco says to kick it downfield. Campisi's back there. This is dangerous with the ball bouncing around. Oh, what a horrible mix-up. France could score. Who's there? Pascal Ondar. Now they set it to Rodriguez. Charvet. Tackled by Campisi. Berbizier. Look at this. Narcisque, the fastest man on the field. Blanco's outside. Michael Liner couldn't pick it up. Rodriguez. Blanco for the corner. I think he's there. And that surely is the try that has put France into the
Well, Gordon, there's no way in the world I'm even going to attempt to describe this try. I mean, it was just fantastic backing up by France. Australia were there. I thought we had the numbers. Campese let that ball bounce. The Frenchman come back. I've just let the pitchers do the talking from now on.
There's Ondar. The ball set up to Rodriguez. Then out to Denis Charvet. Campese, a fine tackle there. And then Berbizier sizing up the situation to Lagisquet with Blanco in support. Cody the tackler. Liner was there, he couldn't hold on. Rodriguez back to Blanco, and he had, look who was chasing, Tommy Lawton, couldn't quite get him. And a fantastic French try. Well, Australia's dreams of World Cup victory appear to have disappeared with this French effort where they kept the ball alive. It seemed for an eternity. And Berbizier with that long cut-out pass, missing 4 or 5 men, really was the one that had Australia in trouble.
Tommy Lawton came across, but Blanco, who saw the corner, really, it was just a sprint between a fullback and a hooker. And Berbizier, who threw that long pass, I'd say without a doubt the best player in the field today. He's really controlled the French forwards and backs. Again, a brilliant game. Australia not out of it yet. There's only probably a minute to go. Once this ball is kicked, they can be done.
So the Frenchmen know they have it. They are through to the final. There's still a minute to go. But Australia would need a miracle from here. Camberabero. What a kick! 6-point advantage. 30 seconds remaining in the international. And the French have recorded one of their greatest triumphs this afternoon at Concord. The Australians have covered themselves in glory, but there's no doubting this French side. They have really just kept coming all day. The whistle to go, the siren to go any second. Australia looking for a quick line out. There goes the siren, it's all over. The Frenchmen are absolutely ecstatic. One of the greatest test matches I think we've ever witnessed. And France is through to the World Cup final, defeating Australia by 30 points to 24.
This has been a Fox Sports presentation.